comes to job descriptions. Would you believe that? Why?
They're boring, they're time consuming,
Yeah, they're boring, they're time consuming. What do you mean? You mean payroll's boring? Hey, she said payroll's boring. Anybody? Right? So the thing is, they're not detailed enough. That's the deal. They're not detailed enough. They're not even close. Okay? Policies and job descriptions need to be broad, but they also need to be deep. Okay? So, for example, there are what they call core skills in job descriptions. There's 5 different areas of core skills when it comes to job descriptions. And in that, there's between 5 and 15 different sections within each of those core skills that you have to ask yourself questions with every single employee to have adequate job descriptions. If your job descriptions need to be probably 4 to 4.5 pages per job description. If they are not that long, you're not compliant, right? Because there's a lot of questions that need to be asked every time without failure. So what was happening with me is I was doing these things myself, being the genius that I am, right? Wasting a lot of man hours trying to write these things over and over again. And then guess what company that I had a portion of lost 2 unemployment hearings? Guess whose company did that? Yes, absolutely. That's fun, right? And guess how much that cost us, like per? Roughly. Anyone? Oh, they're unemployment hearings. It's just somebody that got unemployment, so it's not in the millions. Cost us about $10,000 each. Yeah. Is that fun? Yeah, right? So anyway, I really started looking very closely at different things as far as doing that. But at lunch, I will actually go over and show you how I write a job description. Like toward the end of lunch, if any of you want to see it, you can just huddle around and we'll do. Yeah, we'll do exactly that, if you like. Anyway, so that's one of the things that we're talking about. So, can you demonstrate substantive consistency, something meaningful and firm that proves your consistent efforts to obey the law? Some of the things that they're going to look at, number 1, they're going to look at your written employee handbooks. They're going to look at your handbook. If anybody goes to an unemployment hearing, by the way, what's one of the first questions they ask a lot of times? Do you have what?
written policy.
Yes, do you have a handbook or a written policy? If you don't have the handbook and you can produce it, what generally happens with that hearing? That hearing is over! And you lose. Isn't that fun? Yes. So, handbooks. If anybody has, like, by the way, and I'll argue with any attorney who is, quote, working on the handbook, like, well, you don't have one, is there any reason to not have a handbook right now? Do you know that there's software that's out there where you can produce a basic handbook in 5 to 10 minutes? Basic handbook, 5 to 10 minutes, all kinds of different jobs, things out there. Boom, that's done. So while you're working on your better handbook, produce the one that'll take care of 80 to 90% of what you need, right? While you work on that, and then the software will also, in about a day, maybe less, 3-4 hours, actually produce a full handbook. Okay? It's got all the templates for policies and different things. So they're going to look at your handbooks. They're going to look at your SOPs. Okay? They're going to look at your standard operating procedures and your policies. The regulators from the IRS and the DOL are actually going to look at those things to see if you have your house in order. Right? They want to see substantive consistency, that you're doing things the right way to obey the law. We had like 2 different audits where they were in there for a very short period of time, and as they looked at our information, they said, it looks like you have your act together in a bunch of different areas, and they literally packed up and left. Right? And then there's one other time where they didn't pack up and leave because they saw some things that they found interesting. And they want to see compliant job descriptions. They want to see compliant job descriptions. They're going to look at these things as a precursor, excuse me, or a base to see if you're doing what you need to do. Can you prove reporting consistency? Then they want to see training records. Okay? Training records that show you've consistently made every attempt to train your employees to obey the law. Okay, next page. 4. Okay, it talks about internal audits. Does everybody here perform internal audits right now? Consistently, regularly. Gotta have it. Is there a law that says you have to do an internal audit? No, not that I'm aware of.
703.
Huh?
703. It stops for public figure firm.
Right.
You have to do the internal audit.
Yes, so in certain spots you absolutely have to do that, right? In other areas, they're not going to require that you do internal audits, but if you expect to win or be taken seriously, you have to conduct internal audits. See, I would just like to hear a different tone. That's all, like maybe more Al Greenish or something along those lines, right? See, I told you more, somebody else is gonna forget before the day's over, right?
I thought it was all there.
So make sure that it's